Do you want to deepen your emotional intimacy, sharpen your social skills, and learn how to set healthy boundaries with what I call elegant assertiveness? Okay, what is the first step you should take to deepen your intimacy? It is very, very simple, and it is appreciative communication. Why appreciative communication? Because our basic human need is love, safety, and belonging. So whether we are talking about leadership at the workplace or we're talking about intimate personal relationships, the ability to help people energetically feel seen is the key that opens their hearts. And once people open their hearts, they open their trust thresholds. And trust is so precious. Once you learn how to develop trust and be trustworthy, you maintain stronger relationships. And this is so important. And we all know that at the workplace, when you inspire your teammates or when you inspire your team or your employees to bring the best version of themselves by showing them appreciation, of course, they're going to work smart, not hard, and help the whole business to thrive. And this same principle applies to your personal relationship. What you appreciate, appreciates back. So when you interact with your partner, if you are in a relationship already, say thank you. And say thank you more often. Say thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for doing that. And fully mean it. Words are meaningless unless they come with substance. Fake flattery doesn't cut it. Appreciation is about your energetic presence. And 80% of our communication, as you know, I'm sure, it's not verbal. It's how we project our energy. It's how we look at people, how we hold space for them. And how are we silent together? If you find yourself unable to be silent with people, if you have the urge to interrupt, to intersect, or to give feedback, even when it's not asked for, you may look into your patterns of control. And trying to control the world from a very neuroscientific perspective, it's very often tied to imbalance in the brain when the left side of your brain is dominating. So an antidote to that is to practice more mindfulness, to practice more meditation, to look into your childhood upbringing and see where in your life have you been developing this pattern that unless you control or unless you are in charge of everything, suddenly the world is going to collapse. And let me tell you something, it's so humbling to do the inner work ongoingly. And to do the inner work with this strong self-awareness that transformation, it's a lifelong process. And there is always something to learn about yourself because we constantly evolve. And as I call it, we constantly need to recycle old beliefs so that we can open our consciousness for new empowering beliefs. And everything is tied to relationships because at least in my work, in my professional work, I always look at patterns because patterns, they are patterns for a reason, right? How we do one thing is how we do everything. For example, if you secretly fear that you're not enough, that you're not worthy, that you are not, how to put it, like you have to prove yourself at all costs, well, of course, you're going to attract relationships or situations that are going to give you that sort of a fake evidence. And it's a fact that most of our memory is distorted. We create meaning. We humans are meaning-making machines, and this can be good or bad depending on the situation, again, depending on the meaning. Of course, we need to create meanings to exist, to make sense of the world, but if this meaning is always doing you disservice, you may need to look into your internal processor. Okay, so in other words, how is it tied to relationships? It is tied to relationships because if you constantly doubt yourself, or if you constantly mistrust people, or if you constantly look for some sort of agenda, or if you always think that the other person is not honest, whatever it is, if you constantly try to distort or manipulate the conversation, it's tied to trust issues. And this is a very big topic, so I'm going to leave it at that and continue with number 2 objective of this short video, and it is tied to boundaries. And boundaries, again, I'm going to give you a few pointers here just so that you can evaluate your ability to set boundaries. It's super simple. How do you feel when people ask you for something? Do you immediately have the urge to say yes? Or do you first check in with yourself to make sure that you're available, that you have the emotional capacity to say yes? And high achievers in specific, they are notorious for putting way more on their plate than they can chew, which leads to overwhelm, burnout, and overall resentment. And I have a whole other video on my YouTube channel on boundaries and how to say no with confidence. Highly recommend you watch it. But for the sake of this video, again, it's tied to boundaries. I think, boundaries are tied to patterns. And I think you now understand how everything is really tied together, and the inability to relax, to surrender, to have fun in your relationships, and to know your worth. Confident people, they set healthier boundaries because they know their worth. They have liberated themselves from the need to seek this external validation, from the need to project a certain behavior. And if you think about social media, well, this is a very good sign that someone is not as confident as they try to appear on social media. If your whole feed is like flooded with like these images of you living like this amazing lifestyle, but secretly you are insecure, this actually, it's written all over your feed, because ultimately, again, our energy is our resume. It does not lie. If you are insecure, doesn't matter if you are insecure at home or if you are insecure in a luxurious boat or a car or during your vacation. Insecurities are pretty loud. So again, you cannot suppress your emotions. You cannot numb yourself. You cannot like put bandages. You either heal yourself or you don't. And that's why we always say that money only reveals who you are. Doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you any different. It just makes you who you have always been. And that's why when we do the inner work, we can enjoy success without sacrificing our boundaries or our work-life balance. And which leads me to the final point of this video. And the final point of this video is really about like the social skills that we talked about in the beginning. And they're tied to intuition, sensory perception, and the ability to share your truth without worrying what other people think. And also the ability to hold space for people, the ability to create an energetic environment for people to feel appreciated, to feel welcome to share their truth, and to be a good leader. If you want to get to the next level in your confidence, communication, and leadership, I invite you to join my free masterclass. I'm going to share more information down below. And if you have any more questions, you can always reach out. I'm here to help, to support you, to help you to liberate yourself from limiting beliefs, to fully embody the presence and mindset of a confident person, and to live your best life. Love and peace. This is Anna Maria from Voda Coaching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you very soon.